main with another return type. You probably can't though, so don't bother trying. It's even if you can, it's not a good idea to, because other people who come to look at your code, they'll get confused that you've got some function called main when main shouldn't. When main is where the program starts. You've got two functions called main. What's going on here? So let's get on to defining functions. Now we know we can supply function prototypes so that we can supply function prototypes to tell C++ to look for the function below where it actually might be used. How do you define a function now? Well, again, you type exactly the same way as you did in the prototype, if you did type a prototype, but you don't put the semicolon in, and you put two curly braces, okay? In between the curly braces is what's called the body of the function. And the body is what happens when the function is called, okay? So, for instance, I've declared a function here with no prototype, just so you know, and the reason I've declared it up here rather than down here with all the other functions is because this one doesn't have a prototype. I was just demonstrating what would what you have to do if you don't supply a prototype. I've defined a function with a return type of void called hello again, no parameters, and inside the function we're just going to output in hello again, and then two parentheses and two carriage returns. Okay, now let's look at the other functions. We know there's at least one other function called hello, and we go down here, recognize this, it's the same function as the prototype at the top. Okay, and we're just doing exactly the same as the hello again function, except we're just saying in hello, not in hello again. Okay, and is a final function actually, which I've defined down at the bottom without a prototype. But here you can see I've commented out a call to this function because this function is illegal. Remember, I demonstrated when we move this down here, because it doesn't have a function prototype, C++ throws an error. It throws a compile error and it says you can't do that, that function doesn't exist. So if we tried to call this function illegal, it wouldn't work because there's no prototype up here. So as far as C++ is concerned, it doesn't exist. Okay, so I've just written this will not work because we haven't supplied a prototype, so C++ won't look for the definition. I've put below main, but the function doesn't necessarily have to be below main, so that's actually redundant, and therefore it will think the function doesn't exist. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. So now let's finally run the program. Before we run it, we're just going to look at what should happen. We're going to hypothesize. First, we know it's going to output in main. Second, we can assume that... Oh, right. Sorry, I haven't even talked about calling functions. To call a function, you just write out the function name, and then you type the two parentheses and any parameters. We're not going to do parameters again this time, though. And that will call the function. You can see here I'm typing it out. Exactly as it is here, it's exactly the same as it is here, except I haven't supplied the return type. And as it is here as well, it has to be the same. If you type hello with a big O, you'll get a compile error, because remember C++ is case sensitive, so it says identifier not found. So it has to be exactly the same. Also, let's just demonstrate with the function prototype not being there. It will say again hello identifier not found, because we've got hello up here, the function prototype with a big O, and down here with a little o, and here with a little o as well. If we put a big O here, there's a big O up here, big O here, and a big O and a little o, sorry, down here. It will say, hey, you haven't defined this function. Unresolved externals. It sort of gives you a hint. It's a bit unclear, but you can just about tell because it's telling you the function that's causing the problem. So yeah, basically, moral is just make sure all your function prototypes, your function definitions, and your function calls are written exactly the same. Okay, so again, just to recap, calling a function, type the function name, and then, you type the parameter list in between the parentheses. And because it's a statement, you have to put that semicolon. So, it should say in main, then we call the function, so the program will actually skip to the function. So if we go down here, let's see what happens in hello. So now we should assume that it will output in hello, then it will output in main again, then we call hello again, so the function skips down to the declaration of hello again, or in this case up, and it should output in hello again, and then it should just output in main. Okay, let's give this a shot. And as expected, in main, in hello, in main, in hello again, in main. Okay. So that concludes this tutorial. In the next tutorial, what are we going to be looking at? We're going to be looking at scope. So we're not actually going to be looking at return types or parameters just yet. We'll do that in a couple of tutorials. So over and out, guys.